So, does he give you the verdict right away, or does he screw around first? I see. Well, yeah, I mean, I think we got a good chance, too, but still, should I be preparing myself for the worst? No, I wasn't referring to your bill. Yeah, right. I'll see you at 12.
Decision coming down today on blood on the bench?
Yeah.
Keep my fingers crossed.
Thanks, Arthur.
Sergeant, what's your sign? I'll read your horoscope.
Taurus.
Taurus. Excellent prospects for success today. Look for a happy conclusion to a personal problem. Avoid court. Just kidding. No, it doesn't really say that.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning,
Fine.
Today's a big day, huh?
Well, yeah, I got to be in court at 12, but I expect to be back by 2.
Listen, I hope everything goes well.
Thanks, Barn. I'm feeling pretty good about the case. I mean, you know, Ripner had some good arguments, but I think we did a pretty good job of discrediting his witnesses.
I know. I was one of them.
Right. By the way, Barn, you know, now that it's all over, I'd like to apologize if my lawyers were a little rough on you.
Oh, hey, listen, they did what they had to do, you know.
Right.
Of course, I do think that bringing up my prison record was a bit uncalled for.
Yeah, we were just establishing character.
Barn. This is Miss Doris Carlisle. This is Captain Miller.
Hello.
Mrs. Carlisle wants to lodge a complaint against Lexington General Hospital.
They're endangering my husband's health.
How?
See, for 6 months or so, her husband's been a lab technician at the research section.
He's always wanted to work in a doctor's world.
Anyway, he's in the nuclear medicine department, and according to Mrs. Carlisle, there is a lot of low-level radioactive waste that's being stored there from treatment and research, and she says that it's doing something to her husband.
It affected his performance.
What she means, Barney.
I know what she means.
He used to be warm and loving, a real ace. And the stuff is draining his energy, sapping his strength.
Mrs. Carlisle, it's not that we're unsympathetic. It's just that there are other agencies better equipped to handle a
No,
problem.
I've been there. I've been to all of them. You're my last chance.
Well, to be perfectly candid, this is just not an area that the police department can get involved in.
I already told her we would.
All right, you and Harris check it out.
Anything you say.
We'll do what we can.
Oh, thank you.
Captain, there's a disturbance at a post office on Bleecker.
You and Dietrich.
Morning, gentlemen. Barney. It is as horrible as I remember.
What are you doing here? I mean, it's great to see you.
You too, Barney.
3.5 years we haven't seen you. Why?
Well, to tell you the truth, I sort of decided I'd never come here again.
Why?
I just felt I left all this behind. Life was for the young. People don't want some old-timer hanging around, being a nuisance.
Come on, Fish.
But something happened that made me change my mind.
What?
Someone older than me was elected president.
So how's Bernice?
Who? Oh, she's fine. She gives you all her love. For whatever that's worth.
And, Jilly and Victor and the rest of the kids?
Oh, them, they're gone. Money for the group home was cut off, so the city took back the kids.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So is the city.
But, I mean, they're okay? They're doing okay?
Oh, yeah. Victor was arrested for assault and battery, but they're not going to try him as an adult. And Jilly got pregnant, but the guy married her.
Oh.
And the other kids are doing fine, too.
Let me buy you a cup of coffee. Huh?
All right.
It's not as bad as Nick's, but we're working on it. So, what are you doing these days to keep busy?
I'm into leather. Please maybe take a course in leather crafts at Brooklyn College. Said it would do me good to get out and meet new people.
Right.
So now I sit in my room and make wallets.
Right. I don't know what I'm gonna...
You're uglier than your picture.
I should have known by your handwriting. You're a cheat.
All right. What do we got here?
Captain, this is Frederick Houston. This is Milton Korshak. Picked him up at the post office. They're pressing mutual assault charges.
Yeah, he's a liar, the cheat.
He doesn't know his pawn from his rook. Mr. Korshak and Mr. Houston play chess by mail. Apparently, they've had a number of disagreements over who moved where, so they met at Mr. Korshak's post office box to settle the dispute.
When we got there, Mr. Korshak was squeezing Mr. Houston's head in this.
He tried to stab me with a squeeze.
He's using the Indian defense, caught him completely off guard.
I could have made it.
All right. Look, I don't understand any of this.
Well, look, Captain. I had just moved my knight to Queen 6, thus creating a juggernaut from which no one could escape.
Until I moved my master stroke of putting Queen Bishop to Knight 3, thus putting his king in check.
In check? I never got that move.
According to Mr. Houston, his check is in the mail. Like I said, it's mutual assault.
You two are still intent on pressing charges? Welcome.
Do you work here?
I used to. I'm retired.
You remind me of my husband.
I'm sorry.
He's retired, too.
Been shopping, have we?
Why do you say that?
Well, you have a shopping bag. I was a cop for 35 years, so I'm pretty good at putting things together.
Oh, I see.
Excuse me.
Sometimes extraordinary situations call for extraordinary measures, don't you think so?
Yes.
I mean, a person has to do what a person has to do, right?
I agree with you completely.
Officer Levitt, may we have the chessboard and pieces, please?
What for?
He's challenged me to a game.
Gentlemen, I'm afraid this is evidence. And regardless, this is a police station, not a country club.
Problems, Levitt?
They want to play a chess game in a cage. You believe that?
Let him.
Glad to see you're getting a break.
What happened?
I checked it out.
Iris McCourt?
Oh, yeah, he went straight over. Everything that Miss Carlisle says seems to be right. The place is full of the stuff. And they got a basement that just crammed with barrels marked radioactive.
What'd they say about it?
Well, I talked to the hospital administrator. That's that Mr. Giles. He said that there's no danger from it. But at the same time, there's no disposal site willing to take the stuff right now. And the federal law requires that they store it on the site at the hospital until disposal can be arranged.
When is that going to be?
They don't know.
That's what they told me.
Mrs. Carlisle, thank you for bringing this to our attention.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
I'm afraid nothing.
Nothing.
That's what I thought you'd end up saying.
Well, I'm terribly sorry,
You
but...
did what you could.
Well, there doesn't seem to be any laws broken. As I said before, this is not in our jurisdiction. However, I'll see to it that a copy of the report that Sergeant Wojciechowicz... What is that?
An explosive device. I want that radioactive waste moved out of the hospital in 2 hours or I'm going to blow us up.
You guys didn't have to do this for me.
Mrs. Carlisle, I don't know exactly what it is you're doing, but this isn't the way to do it.
I want that stuff moved.
And so do we. And I promise you that if you...
All right, keep away. I'll throw the switch.
Whatever you say.
I don't want to, but I will.
Mrs. Carlisle, it's really important for you to put that bomb down. I promise you we will do everything in our power to help you to resolve your problem.
You'll call the hospital?
I promise.
And you'll get that stuff out of there and away from my husband?
We will.
All right.
Okay. Now, if you just...
Only first you gotta do that. Then I'll give you the bomb.
Okay, well, Joe, you want to get on the phone and get me Mr.
Giles.
Mr. Giles at the hospital. And while Sergeant Wojciechowicz is... While he's calling the hospital, if you don't mind, I'd like to call the bomb squad. Just in case. And then I'd like to clear the room and the rest of the floor, okay?
And leave me alone in here.
No, I'll stay with you.
I don't think so. I would like to, but it just seems to me that the more people in here, the better chance there is of getting something done. You can understand that.
Of course.
Makes sense to me.
I was just trying to record club.
Is that your move?
It's not my move till I take my hand off.
Well, then take it off.
Don't rush me. I got 10 minutes.
That woman out there can blow us up in 5.
What?
Now, it's my move.
Barn, I got Mr. Giles here. I filled him in.
Mr. Giles, Captain Miller here. Yes, a bomb. That indeed appears to be what she is holding. Well, I was hoping you could help me out. Yes, I do have full hospitalization. Look, Mr. Giles, the point is Mrs. Carlisle is demanding that the radioactive waste material that you have stored in your hospital be removed from the premises within the next 2 hours. Did I say something funny?
I don't want to talk about it. I lost. Court awarded Ripner $320,000.
Sergeant, Mrs. Carlisle over there, she has a bomb. She's threatening to set it off.
Fine.
Nothing you can do about it. Yeah, good luck to you, too.
I really appreciate all this.
Our pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you. South Carolina won't take it.
Then we are in trouble.
No one will take it, will they?
Mrs. Carlisle, we have called everyone we know to call. The NRC, the Department of Transportation, every dump site in the country.
In other words, you're telling me that there is no point in continuing with this?
What I'm telling you is Everyone has done his best.
Then, guess I'll have to blow us up.
Of course we can do better. Oh, sure, there are avenues we haven't even begun to try yet.
What are they? Who is it?
It's me. Whoa.
Why aren't you at work?
They said you were here with a bomb.
I didn't want them to bother you.
Miller?
Yes.
I'm Ron Giles. We spoke on the phone.
Oh, look, there was no reason for you to come up here.
I know. And although it has always been the hospital's policy never to negotiate with terrorists, nevertheless, we feel that this situation can be resolved without Mrs. Carlyle having resort to using that thing, which we believe would be in no one's best interest.
Our position exactly.
Doris, I'm begging you to stop all of this.
I'm doing this to help you. That stuff, you know what it's doing to you. It's taking away...
Shh. There are other people here.
Oh, that's all right. They already know.
Mrs. Carlyle, I'm Ron Giles from the hospital.
You're the one that's always in conference.
Yes, that's because I've been very busy trying to solve the very problem that you have expressed your concern about.
You're killing my husband.
Mrs. Carlyle, we adhere to very strict federal guidelines. And we store that material safely and securely.
I want it out.
And so do we. But we can't just wish it away. I mean, is it our fault if the dumps won't accept it?
According to them, it is.
Beg your pardon, Sergeant?
The guy from the dump in South Carolina, he told me they stopped taking your waste materials because you guys weren't shipping it the right way. You weren't packaging it right, and a lot of it was leaking before it even got there.
Well, we fixed that.
Yeah, but not until they caught you.
Oh, sure. It's so easy to point your finger. What's your solution? We just shut down the nuclear medicine department? We stopped doing research? We stopped treating people for cancer?
No, I didn't say that. But it seems like you could take a little bit better look at what you're going to do with all of this stuff before you start churning it out.
Gentlemen, we seem to be a bit sidetracked.
Sorry.
Believe me, Doris. The trouble I'm having has nothing to do with the job or radioactive waste.
It must. For a man to go from being strong and virile to weak and incapable has to have something to do with that stuff.
Not necessarily. A person doesn't have to be around radiation to have this kind of problem.
How do you know?
Believe me, I know.
Oh. And you never worked around radioactive materials?
My watch doesn't even have a luminous dial.
And what did it?
I don't know. It just happened. People change. The years take their toll. It's all just a part of nature's rich pageant.
Oh.
Look, what you're doing isn't going to help anyone. So how about just giving me that?
Well, how do I know you didn't just say that about yourself so that I would give this to you?
Would this body lie to you? Someone take this, please.
Got it. Levitt, call the bomb squad. Mrs. Carlyle, I'm afraid we're going to have to book you.
Back over here, Miss Carlyle.
Well, I knew we could work that out.
Thank you for your cooperation, Mr. Giles.
My pleasure. Is we going?
Oh, hey, there's still all that stuff at the hospital. What about it?
We plan to move it, Sergeant. Eventually.
Okay, and then you and then everybody else will go on making more and more. And eventually, you're going to run out of places to put it, right?
That is a problem that we're trying to solve. And there are a number of long-range solutions.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Opening new dump sites, use of salt domes, abandoned mines for long-term storage. We may even find a permanent solution by rocketing our waste into space, out of the Earth's atmosphere, traveling harmlessly out of our solar system.
And what if there's life out there that's not particularly interested in dealing with our garbage?
Well, then, I guess they will just have to send it back.
Well, I'll be heading home, Barney.
Fish.
I'll leave the paperwork to you boys.
Thanks for reminding us how it's supposed to be done.
Sure. Well, it's been nice seeing everyone.
Take care of yourself, Fish.
Give my love to Bernice.
You know, you seem to me like a very compassionate person. So what say you give me a break, huh?
Just shut up, will you? I'm typing.
Come on, man. It's spring. I mean, there's something in the air. The pigeons are chirping. The grass is coming back up to the sidewalk. People are in the park, throwing frisbees, laying on blankets, making out.
And you're out mugging them.
I don't have a girlfriend.
Good morning, Harris. It is.
Problem with the appeal?
Nah, everything's going okay. It's just that we already went through one trial, and now I got to go through the whole thing all over again.
Better than giving Ripner the judgment.
Look, there's no way on God's good earth I'm going to give that sleazeball $320,000.
You have that kind of money to give?
No. That's why I'm not worried about it.
Hi, Barney. Mail call. Sergeant Harris.
Thanks, Levitt.
Take a puff. It's springtime. It's a beautiful day, Sergeant Dietrich.
Ram it.
Sir, your mail, month-end crime statistics.
Thank you.
I think you'd be pleased to note that our precinct experienced a major surge in thefts and personal assaults over the past few weeks.
Why would I be pleased to note that?
Well, I was simply thinking in terms of job security. Everyone but me, of course.
Can I help you?
Don't you remember me, Sergeant?
How could I forget?
Jakob Beuger. The diamond dealer who was robbed. I was here just a few years back.
Oh, yes, right. Did you have the beard then?
I'd like to speak with Captain Miller, please.
Hold on. Barn?
Yeah.
Mr. Berger's here again.
Yes.
Barn, excuse me. Ask him if he's got your $20.
What $20?
Oh, you remember the Amish guy?
Yeah? What's that got to do with Mr. Berger?
Nothing. Forget it.
Mr. Berger?
Captain Miller.
What can we do for you?
You and your men once did me a very great service. You returned some very valuable merchandise. I want you to know that I hold you all in very high regard for that.
Just doing our job, Mr. Berger.
I didn't come here to hand out compliments. I came to find out why the police are not there when we need you.
What are you referring to?
What am I referring to? At this very moment, a fine Jewish man is lying in a hospital room, semi-private, with 3 cracked ribs and a broken arm, because you people failed to respond.
Barney, a maintenance guy in the steam tunnels under Houston just reported some people with guns. Barney, this could be gang activity.
Better not take any chances. Break out some weapons.
On my way.
Make sure you got some uniforms as backup. Get on the phone to Koga and get some squad cars in the area.
What do you want from me? A medal? And then, Friday night, Avram Meyer is attacked by three hoodlums right outside Gramercy Park.
We've had quite a few incidents in that neighborhood recently.
He's our cantor. He was walking home from shul. A fine, peace-loving man. How we all love him. Never mind, he has a croak in his voice that would frighten a cow. A woman saw it all from her window. She broke her Sabbath and telephoned for help. 25 minutes later, the police are kind enough to show up.
Well, we weren't working that night.
Does anybody?
Mr. Berger, I hope you'll appreciate our problem. We have just so much manpower. There's a lot of crime out there and just so many of us.
Tell that to Mr. Mayo, who at this moment doesn't know if he's in this world or the next.
I don't know the specifics of this particular incident, but I promise you the delay will be investigated.
I hope so, Captain. I'm telling you something. The Hasidic community is not going to stand still much longer. We are tired of being the favorite target of every two-bit hooligan. We want concrete and visible action taken to finally put an end to this.
We will do everything we can.
I feel safer already.
Mr. Berger.
I understand. I hope that you do.
Okay, folks, you want to step
There were
inside
50
here?
bums down there you could have arrested instead of us.
Excuse me. This is our gang?
Say hello to the Nelsons, Barn. This is Bill and Wendy. This is Captain Miller.
Oh, a pleasure.
They were down in the steam tones, Barn, where they appear to have taken up permanent residence.
That's the safest place in the city.
They had cots, lanterns, bottled water, and what looked like a 6-month supply of canned goods and dehydrated food.
You know something we don't know?
It's over.
They're survivalists.
This society is on the verge of collapse, Captain. Crime, inflation, depression, unemployment, overpopulation.
Oh, let's not forget natural disasters, Bill. Let's see, there's drought and earthquake and worldwide crop failure.
We are going to be prepared.
In preparation, they had these two .22 caliber rifles. They had a couple of pellet guns. They had an assortment of knives, bayonet, and slingshot.
I can hit a rat from 20 yards with that.
Very impressive.
And surprisingly enough, they taste a lot like chicken.
Oh.
They got permits for these weapons?
No, Barn. They say they were housewarming gifts.
Book them.
Let me tell you something, Captain. When the crunch comes, it's only the people like us who have learned how to be self-sufficient who are going to survive. In the sewer? Well, that's only temporary. As soon as we get our funds together, we're moving out of the city.
Oh, yes, we have our eye on a lovely old National Guard armory in Maine.
Harris.
Good afternoon. Hey, D.D.
Inspector?
Isn't it nice that some of us can just sit around reading a newspaper while those vermin are running wild in the streets? We got an empty cage, you're just sitting there going begging. That's better, D.D.
Hey, buddy. What brings you around?
I just stopped by to see his house business. And when he got there, the cupboard was bare.
Oh, Wojo just took a mugger down at the Tombs.
Did he? Splendid. Just one, huh?
Yeah.
I don't like to complain, Barney, but these measly arrest statistics come drifting across my desk, and then I gotta go and announce the numbers to those bloodsuckers of the press who are just always looking for an excuse to jump all over the old inspector.
Yeah, I know.
Especially that slimy worm from the Times, huh? With his smarty pants questions. Could you give us any specifics? Could you give us some documentation? Who's Kleiner? I'm sorry, what was my point, Barney?
I'm not certain. I think it had to do with arrest statistics.
Ah, that's it. We need more of them, Bon.
Inspector, the amount of men we've got, we're lucky to be holding our own.
I know it's tough, Barney, and I don't want to put the pressure on you, but I would like to see a little upsurge in those numbers. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to cut you out of my will. I'm just kidding, Barney. Like a cup of java?
No, not.
Sir, you might be interested to know there's a bunch of Hasidics gathering outside the precinct.
Oh, yeah, I passed a couple of them on my way up here. Look like the Smith brothers, right?
I think it's about 200 of them down there. They don't seem to be in a very good mood.
Well, what seems to be the problem?
There's been a lot of incidents in their neighborhood. They're complaining about lack of police protection.
I'll just go down and straighten them out.
Oh, Inspector, that really won't be necessary.
Okay, Barney, I don't mind. It's part of my job, Barney.
I'll go down with you.
I can handle it, Barney.
It's just that these people are, well, have different ways. They're very sensitive.
Don't worry. I can understand a situation like this has to be handled with a very delicate touch. So I'll just go down, talk to them, listen to them quietly, and deal with them on a personal one-to-one basis.
Okay, fine.
Thank you. Testing. Testing. Now hear this. 1, 2, 3. Now hear this. This is your inspector speaking.
Okay, folks, we're gonna put you in the cage now.
You arrest a lot of couples, Sergeant?
Mostly family disputes.
We never fight.
Oh, good.
Although, sometimes Bill pretends to be a minority person and attacks me from behind just to test my reflexes. And then I pretend to kick him in the groin and gouge out his eyes with my car keys.
I like you two. Barn, I checked the Nelsons for priors. They're clean. They evidently got the rifles from a survivalist guy over at a store over on Staten Island, and he's coming down.
Row precinct, Sergeant Dietrich. What? All right. Why, that's Kogan. There's something going on downstairs. The Hasidim were rioting. Think Luger talked to him yet?
Kogan's not picking up.
Oh, Barn, I got Manhattan South on line 2.
Oh, good.
Sir, there must be 100 of them downstairs. They got rocks and bottles. They're tearing the place apart.
Want me to call us a cab?
How many uniforms you got down there?
6, including me.
Oh, great. All right, look, you tell them we need reinforcements now.
Right.
Better send a couple of ambulances, too.
Okay.
Put these two someplace safe, huh?
How about the cage?
Fine.
What's going on?
The Jews are rioting.
And you always said it was going to be the Puerto Ricans.
Look, I don't care how bad the traffic is. Just move it. Barn, the cavalry's on the way.
Okay, good. Let's go. Keep an eye on them and keep a line open to Manhattan South.
Yes, sir.
Could we have our guns, please? Officer, I know how to handle a .38. And Wendy here is no slouch with a grenade launcher.
Oh, Bill, you're embarrassing me.
Look, folks, we're getting the situation under control, so why don't you just sit down and relax? Shalom.
Now, this is going to sting just a little bit, dear.
Good. You okay, Levitt?
Yes, sir. Suddenly I wish I were dead.
Oh, come on. You did what you could.
Sure.
Hey, come on. You were outnumbered. Well, given the circumstances, any one of us could have ended up handcuffed to the cage.
It just happened to be you.
Certainly looking forward to all the little cute remarks at my expense when this gets around.
Don't worry about it.
All right, come on, Rasputin, get in here.
You okay, Houdini?
Harris.
This is Victor Cohen. Disorderly conduct, failure to disperse, and assault with a coat rack. Come on. Watch your step, huh?
Somebody broke the window.
Situation downstairs.
Wholesale destruction.
Wonderful.
A couple of paddy wagons just took the overflow down in Manhattan South.
Any serious casualties?
A couple of the cops are going to need stitches, and we got to send about 15 Hassids to the hospital.
Great.
Oh, you know the councilman that came over to try and calm things down?
Yeah?
He's resting comfortably.
What?
Hogan bopped him with a nightstick by mistake.
I feel better.
Roland, hello.
Gwen, Bill.
Can I help you? I'm Captain Miller.
Roland Kent. I own Armageddon Supply and Mini Mart over in Staten Island.
Oh, yeah.
I understand there's some sort of problem here.
They kicked us out of the tunnel, Roland.
Ah. And they put so much work into it. I mean, they bought my tripod suspended Lister bag, my portable field toilet, and the Bunker Beautiful dinette set.
Not to mention a couple of 22 caliber rifles.
That's completely legal, Captain. I have a license.
Yeah, I'm afraid the Nelsons don't.
Well, they said they did.
I thought he meant a driver's license.
Look, they may have bent the law a little, but you have to understand, one of the very keys to survival is the procurement of undocumented firearms.
Really?
I mean, look around you. Social collapse is just a step away. And then martial law, the complete suspension of civil liberties. You leave a trail of paperwork, soon you'll have the gun confiscation squad kicking in your door, violating your rights, violating your wife, leaving you defenseless.
Nice talking to you. You're gonna need some more information.
No kidding.
Dietrich, over here. Victor.
Talk about touchy.
God, what happened?
I don't know, Barney. I went down there to talk to him, so I walked out on the steps and I said, "This is Inspector Luger, NYPD. I want you to know we're working on your problem. In the meantime, why don't you all go home and take a shave?" Next thing I know, I wind up as a welcome mat. Should have seen him, Barney, coming at me, swarming all over me like a plague of angry locusts. Now I know why you didn't want to get down there with me. Excuse me, Barney. I'll get tidied up a little bit. So there it is, huh?
Mr. Berger.
I understand there was a difference of opinion here today.
Call it a riot.
By who? I understand. I heard that the police overreacted.
All allegations will be investigated.
I tried to impress on you this morning the desperateness of these people.
that justifies this?
A drowning man will grab even the point of a sword.
With all due respect, Mr. Berger, you can stick that in your hat.
Got the information from Mr. Kent.
Turning it over to the confiscation squad, Sergeant?
No, they get a carbon.
Don't make the jokes.
All right, if we want you, we'll call you Mr. Kent.
Captain, I heard what happened today. Still gonna tell me I'm crazy, that everything's hunky-dory, society isn't going down the drain?
Oh, maybe you're right, Mr. Kent. Maybe it is all coming apart. We got people of law and faith behaving like animals. Cops who can't even make a dent in crime. We got Ozzie and Harriet living in a sewer. Maybe it is all over. But I'll tell you something. Crawling into a hole with a machine gun and a year's supply of powdered eggs may be survival, but as sure as hell ain't living. And personally, if society is going, I just as soon go with it. Because I do not relish the thought of starting all over again with people like you.
Just leaves more for us.
Well, Captain, I should go back to my shop.
Good day, Mr. Berger.
Who knows? Maybe something good will come out of all of this.
Maybe, but I seriously doubt it.
That's good. Too much hope can drive you crazy.
Barney, I'll be heading along back downtown.
Are you okay, Inspector?
Oh, yeah, fine, Barney. Sure, I just want to splash a little water on my face, you know, rid some of these dusty footprints, and run my bridge under the tap, rinse it out a little bit. I'm good as new.
Good.
Well, I got to face the press. Try to explain away this miserable happening.
Good luck.
You want to come along with me, Barney? Huh? Help me squirm out from under some of those stupid questions?
Well, thank you.
Fine. Then I can blame it all on you.
Seen my baseball?
Liz, I'm fine, believe me. It wasn't that bad. You know everything always looks worse on the news. Luger was on? Did he mention me? Good. Oh, I don't know, a couple hours. I gotta clean up around here. No, I really am not in the mood for a big meal. I'll on the way home, I'll pick up some deli. Or maybe Chinese. Okay. All right, then.
Yeah. And here's a list of the injured, a rundown on property damage,
Okay.
and an estimate on my dry cleaning bill.
I'll take that under advisement. Yeah.
Barney, I ran the rest of the Hasidics downtown and finished the reports.
All right, thank you.
Been cleaning up out there?
Good.
I still can't find my ball.
I'm sorry. I think Luger took it. Okay, Miss Hamilton, do you think you can give a description of the man who stole your purse?
He looked American.
Any other distinguishing marks?
Not really. It all happened so fast. I suppose I have only myself to blame.
How's that?
Well, I'm a very appealing target, don't you think? I mean, a foreigner traveling in a strange land for the first time, trying to adjust to new customs, unfamiliar with the language. I must have stuck out like a sore thumb.
Miss Hamilton, you're only from Canada.
I'm sorry. I just assumed that would count.
Hey, Woj, what's happening?
The reservoir is almost empty.
Okay, who you on with?
Droughts aren't funny, Barn.
I realize that.
Well, I mean, according to this article, if we don't get some meaningful precipitation, or if we don't start conserving water, in a few months, we could run out.
I guess that means that we're all gonna have to pitch in and do our part.
That's right.
Okay. What the hell is this?
Well, it's hot Dr. Pepper. Dietrich drank his.
Just make a pot of coffee, huh? Here.
Okay, but you'll have to live with it.
Listen, if anybody's interested, we got an opening in Vice. Midtown unit needs a sergeant of detectives. Any takers?
Too dirty.
Mail call. Sergeant Harris?
Oh, thank you, Levitt.
The buck I owe you. Sergeant Dietrich, here you go.
Thanks.
New pencil sharpener?
No, that's an air ionizer.
Oh, of course. I understand they're very handy.
Yeah, they're very handy.
Well, good luck with it. Sir, your mail as well as manpower reports, sorted interdepartmental communiques, and this is your brick.
What's this for?
Just part of the department's newly promulgated mandatory guidelines in regard to voluntary water conservation.
Oh, of course.
Stick it in the toity.
I assumed you would. Why don't you do the honors?
Oh, yes, sir. Since I am dressed for that sort of duty.
Captain, I was dispatched. There's a guy in the middle of Washington Square starting a bonfire.
Good, Wojo.
Boys, we got a fire in the middle of the park. Could be arson.
Sure hope we don't need this.
Excuse me, have you seen Sergeant Harris?
I believe he stepped out.
Like,
He said something about the walls closing in on him, and then he handed me these books and just left me sitting here.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm Captain Miller, Miss,
Hamilton, Lillian Hamilton.
How do you do?
I had my purse stolen.
Sorry about that.
Step inside, Mr. Dooley.
Well, I just hope you boys know what you're doing. You disrupted the sacred ceremony.
We're cops. We can do that.
Oh.
What do we got? Walter Dooley, campfire boy.
What?
Barney, you should have seen this one. He had this big blaze going, and he had his logs stacked up like in a pyramid. And then he was standing there singing some kind of mumbo jumbo and dangling a chicken over the flames.
What for?
I'm a rainmaker.
Oh, of course.
Give me a chance, Barney.
Look, Captain, I'm not just some nut who was having a barbecue. I was performing a ritual that could be traced back to the days of Merlin, augmented by new techniques that are based on solid scientific facts.
Such as?
That chicken was stuffed with 10% silver iodide in a sodium iodide solution marinated in acetone base.
Basic ingredients used in cloud seeding.
I covered all the bases.
Well, we appreciate your good intentions, Mr. Dooley, but I'm afraid it's against the law to start a fire in a New York City park.
So why did they hire me?
Who?
The Water Department commissioned me to coerce the elements. And I have a contract to prove it.
Had that on him. What's official?
Miscellaneous expense voucher.
Uh-huh.
Sum of $250 to be paid to Mr. W. Dooley upon commencement of services, with another $250 payable upon successful completion of said services.
Seems to be self-explanatory, doesn't it?
Gonna need some further information. You want to go with Sergeant Wojciechowicz?
Oh. Over here, Mr. Dooley.
All right, thank you. You know, the toughest nut I ever cracked was this little one-horse town right outside of Lubbock, Texas. That was, let's see, back in '33.
Uh-huh.
It hadn't rained in a year and a half. The riverbeds had dried up. The farms had gone under. the livestock withered up and turned into jerky right before your eyes.
All right, now we'll put you in a cage.
Well,
now.
I tried every trick in the book. I tried the Aztec incantations, and then the Orinoco frog flogging. I even sat up in a tree half the night with a drum, pretending to be thunder. Oh, what happened? Nothing. Not even a drizzle. Well, finally, I suggested the Ploskin maiden ritual. Now, here's what they do. At the stroke of midnight, every woman in the town skips naked through the streets and sprinkles water on each other.
Did they win for that?
It rained like hell. Oh, you should have seen it. 200 bareback females jumping up and down and rolling around in the mud. And all grateful.
I finished processing Dooley. He's clean.
Okay.
And Dietrich called the water department, and there's some guy he's coming down here.
Yeah, I know. He told me.
Oh. Okay.
Anything else?
Nah. Well, yeah. I mean, I've been listening to Dooley, all his stories, about making rain, the Depression, all the places he's been, and naked women.
And?
And it's just more of the same. I mean, it's got nothing to do with him personally. I'm just using him as a metaphor for the way that I feel.
Which is?
I could use a change of scenery, that's all.
I take it you're referring to the opening advice up at Midtown.
Yeah. So what do you think?
It's your life. It's your decision. And if you think that's what you want to do, by all means, do it.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Okay. I'll submit your name with the others.
What others?
Harris and Dietrich. They want to change the scenery, too.
When did they tell you that?
Dietrich was just in here. Harris, about an hour ago.
You mean I'm third?
Barn, Miss Hamilton just made a positive identification of the guy who ripped her off.
Oh, good.
So, I'm gonna go pick him up.
Well, you could have said something.
Would you like a drink of water, too?
Oh, no, thank you, miss. You see, I prefer to make my own.
Oh, that's right. I heard you were a rainmaker.
Oh, going on 50 years.
I've always been Canadian.
Oh, magnificent country you've got up there in Canada.
You really think so?
Oh, yes, you see, I served an apprenticeship for 2 years under an old Ottoman medicine man. Oh, I remember sleeping in a forest of virgin pine, waking up to share my stream with moose and elk, and climbing mountaintops so high you could get up there and kiss the clouds.
I'm from Windsor. It's about 5 minutes outside of Detroit.
Oh, but it's very nice there, too, you know.
Yes, sir. Help me.
Ernest Lum.
Sergeant Dietrich.
Sergeant, your office called my office about a Mr. Dooley.
You must be from the water department. Be right back.
Mr. Dooley?
Hello, Mr. Lum.
What hell's going on?
Well, they had me arrested for lighting a ritual fire in Washington Square.
Oh, my. You promised me that you'd keep a low profile. You said that you'd dance a little jig, rattle some beads, maybe slap around a couple of frogs' tops.
I tried all those.
So you had to go and set a torch to half the park?
Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration, Mr.
Lum.
Mr. Lum?
Ernest Lum.
How do you do?
And you are...
Captain Miller.
Captain Miller. So, Captain, just what is it that the old gentleman seems to be charged with?
Creating a public hazard.
I see.
What's more, Mr. Dooley tells us he was acting under the authority of the Department of Water.
Well, I don't understand how he could say a thing like that.
You gave me the contract. You even signed it yourself.
Is your signature, Mr. Lund?
Is there some place that we could talk private?
Really?
You have to understand, Captain, that this drought situation has put the entire water department under a great deal of pressure. What I mean to say is that we have been forced into a situation where we have to cram conservation down people's throats, and they resent it. Ooh.
I can imagine.
Every day it's the same thing. Cut somebody else's water back. How come my business got a fine? I don't want to take a shower with my wife. I mean, I go home at night and I am totally drained.
Well, I can certainly sympathize.
So, anyway, the point is that when this Dooley character came along and he was spouting off about how he could make it rain, well, I suppose somebody in the office must have figured why not give it a shot.
That would be you.
Could have been.
Mr. Lum, what is it you want of me?
Oh, nothing really. Could you let the old man go?
I'm afraid it's not that simple.
Captain, I'm afraid that you don't understand the gravity of the situation. I mean, that if it ever leaks to the press that some drip from the water department hired a rainmaker at the taxpayer's expense, well, now that could prove to be very embarrassing to everybody involved.
That would be you.
You keep saying that!
All right, get inside, Clayton.
Where else am I gonna go?
That's him. That's the man who took my purse.
I brought it back.
Okay, what happens now?
Downstairs, see Sergeant Cogan, range bail.
Fine. Dooley, this is coming out of my own pocket. After this, I am tapped out.
Barney.
Yeah.
We got our man.
Good work.
Gerald Clayton, sir. Picked him up in a coffee shop next to his apartment.
I would have been long gone if it wasn't for her.
When we walked in, Mr. Clayton and the cashier were embroiled in a rather profane discussion in regard to foreign currency exchange.
Canadian junk might look pretty. Just try and spend it. And the guy wouldn't even take $50 worth for a lousy coffee in Danish. Then he throws it in my face. Calls me a deserter. I was in jail during that war.
You didn't miss anything. Welcome.
Clayton, you want to take a seat over there, please?
Sir?
Yes, Levitt?
I couldn't help but notice a new and challenging opportunity available in a fast-paced world of ice.
Levitt, that opening calls for
Sir, I realize I hardly merit consideration myself. I was simply wondering if any of the qualified personnel expressed an interest.
Yeah, we all did.
Oh, really? That's tragic, sir.
Oh, it is, Barn.
Or Joe.
No, really, I'm glad he brought it up.
Somebody had to.
But some cruddy vice job comes in here, and one day we're all falling all over ourselves, just trying to get out of the place. Now, I'd like to know why.
So would I. You go first.
Gentlemen,
There's work to be done. This is not exactly the time or place for this kind of discussion.
I knew you were going to say something like that.
I think we all did.
Thank you.
Oh, come on, Barn. I mean, it's not just you, it's all of us. Barney, we've all had our moments together. Some damn good ones. But there just don't seem to be a whole lot left.
I got nothing to add.
Me neither. Do you?
What the hell difference does it make to me? I mean, one of you may leave. Eventually, all of you are going to leave, and I'm going to be stuck right here. I'm sorry. I had no right to say that.
No, it's okay.
No. Believe me, I had no intention of suggesting that any of you owe me anything or that you're being ungrateful. It's just that I've been watching you guys for a lot of years. It's going to be hard to let go.
I like your style.
I did it! What? It's my idea. Mine! Captain, I have to admit at first I was skeptical myself. I thought maybe I was crazy, you know, had water on the brain, and I was right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What about Mr. Dooley?
Oh, him, yeah. I gotta get back to the department. When I tell them where this rain came from, they aren't gonna believe it.
Probably right.
Oh. I never thought of that.
Would you? Turn Mr. Dooley loose.
All right. Rain feels good, doesn't it?
Clears away a lot of dust.
Miss Hamilton, if you will just sign this, you can be on your way.
Oh, good.
Come on, Clayton, we're going down for pictures and prints.
What about my statement? That was it.
Let's go.
Sign for your valuables here, you'd be free to go.
Well, thank you, Sergeant, and I sure appreciate your kindness.
Sure. Look, sorry about sending you out in the rain.
Oh, that's all right. I'm used to it. Can I sign this, huh?
Right down there.
All right.
Where you go next?
Oh, I don't know. But I've been thinking about Afghanistan. You know, it's very dry there, and it might be fun to muck it up for the Ruskies.
I'll go with you.
What?
My name's Lillian, Mr. Dooley. We talked before, and until this very minute, I've never done anything spontaneous or even interesting in my entire life.
I'm sorry about that.
I'm a good typist, Mr. Dooley, and I can carry things, even pay my own way.
I see.
It's just that if you say no, then the one opportunity I'll ever have to really do something will be lost. Forever.
Well, you see, miss, I've always worked alone. But, I suppose a man of my age could always use a little help. Maybe even someone to carry on the craft. You know, like when I retire.
Oh, I'd like that.
All right, now I'll think about it. Well, goodbye, Sergeant.
So long, Mr. Dooley.
Incidentally, Lillian, is it?
Yes.
Did you ever hear of the Etruscan maiden ritual?
But I'm willing to learn.
Huh? All right. Let's go. Good a place to start as any.
Good morning, Barney.
Morning.
Morning, Mojo. Morning. Dietrich and Levitt went out on a call, and I finished the quarterly manpower stats. They're in on your desk.
Well, thank you. Harris? Aren't you appealing today?
Thank you. I think you are, too.
I was referring to your $320,000 judgment.
Oh, you must mean the one I've been trying not to think about. Yeah, well, the decision on the appeal is going to come down today.
How's it look?
Well, I'm not worried. Even if I lose today, I can just appeal again. Keep dragging it through the courts for years, and in the meantime, who knows? Ripner could have a massive coronary or die in an avalanche.
He doesn't strike me as the skiing type.
I've been sending him brochures.
Okay, Mr. Golden, inside.
Who do they think they are, huh? Telling me where to go and what to do.
Get in there and be quiet.
Just asking.
What do we got?
Captain, this is Martin Golden. Charges include trespassing, destruction of private property, and aggravated assault.
I may not look like much, but I used to be an air raid warden.
Mr. Golden took umbrage when he was denied permission to cut through this construction site on his way to work.
I have a newsstand on the other side.
A couple of hard hats caught him with a company crowbar prying his way through the fence. When they tried to stop him, he took a swing at him with it.
The owners are sending someone down to sign a complaint.
Okay,
The whole thing is unfair. For 20 years, I had a perfectly vacant lot to walk across. And now, boom. In one day, as if it fell from the sky, I got a bunch of roughnecks putting up a building.
That's progress.
You're very wise.
Welcome.
You're the cop, so you cuffed my handsies.
Right.
I'm a worthless check. I'm a total wreck. I'm a flop.
Walter, hold it for just a second, all right?
You're the cop.
Thanks. Barn, this is Walter Cushing. This is Captain Miller.
Getting to know you. Getting to know all about you.
We picked him up at Siegel's, singing away in the housewares department.
I was opening up. I was reaching out.
Yeah, see, he's taking this kind of therapy where they teach you to lose your inhibitions by singing in public.
According to witnesses, there was a big crowd watching the yogurt maker demonstration when Mr. Cushing approached the lady in charge and went into a chorus of, "Hey, good looking, what you got cooking?"
Actually, yogurt is fermented, but there's no song for it.
Well, anyway, he started driving people away, and so the manager told him to stop, and he just kept on going.
See, in the movies, when people used to start singing, everybody would join in. In real life, they just look at you like you're crazy.
Pressing charges? Creating a disturbance, loitering, and conspiracy with intent to annoy.
All right, Mr. Cushing, have a seat over here.
What for?
You're going to need further information.
Barn? Court convenes in an hour, so I guess I better take off now.
Hey, good luck.
Thank you. Listen, officially I'm due back at 4, right?
4.
Try and have him out of here by then, okay?
You see, Sergeant, as children, we were capable of complete spontaneity. We danced, we laughed, we sang, expressed whatever we felt, regardless of what anyone else thought.
Yeah, I remember that.
But as we grow older, we're expected to suppress our feelings. You know, act your age, grow up. Big girls don't cry. Until our lives become nothing more than an emotional monotone.
In the cage.
Don't you see, Sergeant? Through the magic of singing, you can renew your spirit, rise above the muck and mire of this thing called life, rejuvenate, celebrate. Come on.
All right.
The hills are alive with the sound of music. Everybody with songs they have sung for 1,000 years. The hills fill my heart with the sound of music. My heart wants to sing every song it hears. Excuse me.
I checked Mr. Golden for priors. He's clean.
Okay.
Also started doing a little research on his claim.
What claim?
His right to walk across that lot. There's some very interesting laws in that area.
Hey, hey, hey. It's me, boo-boo.
Hey, Harris.
Wojo, you big lug.
Hey, what's happening, little Evan?
I'm back, Barney.
You drunk?
Uh-huh.
Gotta go in court.
Happened.
Go. We're all sitting around there in the courtroom. Then the judge strolled in. So we all stood up, you know. I mean, it's required, you know. And then he gave down his decision.
Which was?
He said that I can't be appealing anymore.
Does that mean Ripner's gonna get all the money?
The defendant, Ronald Nathan Harris, is hereby directed to give to the plaintiff, Arnold, Mr. Potato Head Ripner, the total of $320,000. So I said to the judge, hey, guess what? I haven't got it. So he said to me, guess what? You better get it. And that's when I started to find out about supplemental proceedings. Do you know what supplemental proceedings is?
No, what?
It's when I have to show up the first thing, bright and early, tomorrow afternoon, with everything that I own in this world.
Oh, boy.
So anyway, I was getting all my stuff together at home, and I ran across those 2 bottles of Lafitte 29. Remember? I bought them at a wine auction 3 years ago. You know that they are now worth $2,000 for one of them. So I said to myself, no way am I gonna let this bourgeois bozo suck up my fine French grape. So you know what I did with that wine?
I could hazard a guess.
I poured it down the sink. Wow, I drank a whole bottle of really cheap gin.
All right, Harris, come on.
Barney, it's okay. I know we all got work to do. And don't worry, I got some leads to follow on a crime case.
You're not going anywhere. Why don't you give me your gun?
Huh?
Your gun. Can I have it?
What for?
For old times, huh?
Oh. You're not gonna give it to Ripner, are you?
Promise. Okay, now you come with me. We're gonna go into my office, and we're gonna lie down.
Whoa.
Together?
Larry.
Yes, sir. Can I help you?
Jason Parrish, Liberty Bell Development Corporation.
Oh, I am Sergeant Dietrich. Taking you here to see Mr. Golden.
Yeah, where do I sign?
You mean a complaint?
Yes, Sergeant, and I'm in a little bit of a hurry, if you don't mind.
I understand that, but listen, I did a little check on Mr. Golden. The man has never even had a parking ticket.
Good for you. So where do I sign?
I'm sure if you agreed to drop the charges, Mr. Golden would promise never to set foot on your property again, right?
Sergeant, I'm just carrying out the instructions of the owners.
Sure, I understand that, but I'm sure if you called them, they'd understand the situation.
I would, but I'm not even sure that there's an interpreter available.
An interpreter?
Liberty Bell is a multinational investment syndicate made up of French, West German, and Kuwaiti interests.
Oh, I should have known by the name.
I'm not unsympathetic, but I really would like to get this taken care of. I got a foreclosure seminar at 5.
All right, you can sign the complaint. But we may need some preliminary information for Mr. Golden's injunction.
I beg your pardon?
Mr. Golden may want to proceed with his claim.
I have a claim?
You did walk across that property to get to your place of business.
Every day for 20 years.
So?
So that creates an easement.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. The right to use the realty of another for a specific purpose or to limit the use of someone else's realty.
I know the term.
Mr. Golden's daily crossing of your property conferred on him the legal right to do so. He can't exercise that right if you put up a building there.
So what do you want us to do, tear it down?
Hey, it's up to Mr. Golden.
If it's not too much trouble.
Can I use your phone?
Right ahead.
How's he doing?
He talked himself to sleep.
So, do you want me to write up a disciplinary notification for downtown?
That is the required procedure.
So, do you want me to write up a disciplinary notification for downtown?
Type it up. I will sign it.
Who gets copies?
Nobody.
Bonjour, Monsieur Patin. Easement? No. Well, it's like if someone had been walking through your vineyard to get to his bordello. Well, yes, theoretically, he could demand that the building be redesigned to accommodate him, or failing that, he could have it torn down. No, I don't think there's any reason to bother Helmut with this. Well, you know how he gets. Guten Tag, Herr Strassler. Ja, jawohl, wir haben ein bisschen Problem hier. Die Wolkenkranze ganz kaputt. Yeah, vigoda. Jason Parrish at Liberty Bell Development.
Yeah, Miller.
I hate this job. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree completely. My clients have decided not to proceed against Mr. Golden. Assuming, of course, that Mr. Golden agrees not to proceed against us. Okay?
Oh, it's very generous of you. But I prefer that the building come down.
We could pick you up in a limousine every day, take you around the building.
I don't like cars. Tinted glass gives me a headache.
Moment, bitte. Mr. Golden, your newspaper stands outside, right?
So?
So how would you like one inside? Right next to the elevator.
I don't know. I'm very happy where I am.
How about we throw in a trip to Europe? Spain, France, Monte Carlo? Female companion?
You drive a hard bargain. But, all right.
Helmut, it's a yeah.
How's it going, Harris?
You are looking at one mad nigga.
Look, maybe you better just...
Better? Better what, Barney? Better stop being so uppity? Hey, sure. Let the boy write him a book. Make him some money. Get him a little notoriety. Sure, let me start climbing up that ladder. Then all eyes on the high dive. But they didn't put no water in the pool.
I'm sure everything will look a lot better in the morning.
It's easy for you. You ain't gonna wake up, Paul.
Harris, look.
I'm a country boy, you know that? I was poor. Poor as the dirt I slept in. My daddy worked 18 hours a day in the mills until they carried him away. Mama took in white folks washing and mending just so she could put a little something on the table for 11 hungry children.
I never knew that.
I made that up. I may just send that to Palmerstown because I'm a damn good writer, Barney. I am damn good.
Nobody ever said you weren't, Harris.
Blood on the badge, Barn. It's a fine book.
Yeah.
It's a fine book, Barn. Look. Witty. Vital and absorbing. Rivals Wamba's best.
How long ago was that? About a year and a half ago you wrote that?
Yeah, so.
So what have you written lately?
Barn, what you saying?
I don't know, Harris. With all the cocktail parties and the movie deals, appears to me you haven't done any serious writing recently.
I've been busy.
Yeah, exactly. You know, this may not be the worst thing that could happen. Maybe it'll force you to sit back down and do what you said you wanted to do. Right.
I know this is hard for you, Barney. But could you just mind your own damn business?
No, Harris, he's just trying to help.
Well, what do you know, man? None of you know nothing.
Hey, Harris.
All right. Just let's leave him alone, huh? We got work to do?
Yeah, so let's get to it. It's over, man. It's all over. It's all over anyway, so what's the point, man?
Next time you're found with your chin on the ground, there's a lot to be learned, so look around. Just what makes that little old ant think he'll move that rubber tree plant? Anyone knows an ant can't move a rubber tree plant, but he's got high hopes. He's got high hopes. He's got high in the sky. Hope so. Anytime you're feeling low, instead of letting go, just remember that ant. Oops, there goes another rubber tree. Oops, there goes another rubber tree. Oops, there goes another rubber tree plant.
Oh, thank God.
When troubles call and your back's to the wall, there's a
way there, leaving a trail of blue smoke and disgruntled taxi drivers in its wake. Del, if this is another Nervous Nick situation, I'm resigning, Rodney said, gripping the dashboard. Diamonds in Soho. This has Interpol written all over it. Rodney, you have to think like a mogul. Del yelled over the roar of the engine. This is how the big boys play. We buy the raw material, we find a cutter, and we sell the finished product to the elite. It's the circle of life. It's the circle of the exercise yard at Wormwood Scrubs. They arrived at a nondescript office above a shop that sold adult magazines and very specific types of leatherware. The sign on the door said H. Diamond, Gemological Consultant. Inside, the room was dimly lit and smelled of stale cigar smoke. A man with a face like a crumpled map and a suit that cost more than those van sat behind a massive mahogany desk. This was Diamond Harry. So, Harry said, his voice a smooth tenor, "You're the Trotters. I've heard you're creative. I like creativity. It's what built this city." He reached into his desk and pulled out a small, black velvet bag. With a practiced motion, he tipped the contents onto a white cloth. The stones were small, dull, and looked remarkably like pebbles from a driveway in Lewisham. "There they are," Harry said, "raw, on refined potential. 50 units of the finest industrial-grade diamonds available in the Southeast." Chapter 34. Diamonds are a broker's best friend. Rodney leaned in, squinting at the stones. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a jeweler's loop that Dell had bought from a car boot sale in 1989. "Dell," Rodney whispered, "I'm not sure. They don't sparkle." "Of course they don't sparkle, you tart," Dell hissed. "They're raw. You have to cut them to get the fire. Harry, my managing director here is a specialist. He's checking the clarity." Harry watched Rodney with an amused expression. "Go ahead, son. Check the refraction. Check the density." Rodney held a stone up to the light. His two GCEs, one of which was in art, were being pushed to their absolute limit. He remembered a documentary he'd seen on the Discovery Channel about diamond mining. The crystalline structure seems consistent, Rodney said, trying to sound like a man who spent his weekends in the vaults of De Beers. "But what about the provenance? Can we see the certification?" Harry let out a short, sharp laugh. Certification. Son, if these stones had certificates, they wouldn't be 10 grand. They'd be 50. You're buying the opportunity, not the paperwork. Dell stepped forward, his rings gleaming. We understand the risks, Harry. We're traders. We live on the edge. Give us 24 hours to assemble the capital. You have until midday tomorrow, Harry said, sweeping the stones back into the bag. After that, they go to a buyer from Antwerp, and he doesn't ask questions about GCEs. Chapter 35, The Valuation. Back in the van, the atmosphere was electric with a mixture of greed and terror. 10 grand, Dell, Rodney cried. Where are we going to get 10 grand? We haven't even got 10 pounds for the congestion charge. We've got the tactical money from the tournament, Dell said, his mind racing. And I can sell the rest of the poultry sexers to a contact in the Highlands. He says they're great for grading salmon. That's only a few grand. We're still 7 short. I'll talk to Boyke, Dell said, his jaw setting. Boyke, he'll want a pound of your flesh for every tenner. He'll want a piece of the action. Rodney, he's always wanted to get into the diamond trade. He's got the vault. He's got the contacts. We bring him in as a silent partner. Boyke, silent? Rodney laughed. He'll be telling everyone from here to Marbella that he's the Diamond King of Peckham before the sun goes down. Let him talk, Dell shouted, swerving the van around a bus. As long as he provides the readies. We're the brokers, Rodney. We're the brains. This is it. This is the big one, the Bermondsey-bling. As they rattled back toward Nelson Mandela House, Del Boy looked up at the gray London sky and saw only a glittering field of diamonds. He could almost feel the weight of the £1,000,000 check in his hand. Mange tout, Rodney, he whispered. Mange tout. Chapter 36, The King of the Car Lot. Boyke's residence, the Chestnuts, stood as a monument to 80s aspiration and questionable architectural choices. It was the kind of house that didn't just have a gravel driveway. It had gravel that was polished daily by a man who was terrified of Boyke's laugh. Dell and Rodney stood at the front door, Rodney checking his reflection in a brass knocker that was shaped like a lion with an identity crisis. Remember, Rodney, Dell whispered, straightening his tie. We're not begging. We're offering an unprecedented investment opportunity. We're the conduits of wealth. The door was opened by Marlene, who was wearing a tracksuit that had enough sequins to blind a low-flying pilot. Dell, Rodney, come in. Boyke's in the library. He's currently reading a catalog of solid gold bidets. They were led into a room filled with leather-bound books that Boyke had clearly bought by the yard. Boyke was sitting behind a desk, looking like a man who had successfully privatized his own soul. Derek, Rodney, Boyke drawled, not looking up. I assume you're here about the poultry sexers. I've had 3 complaints from the SAS. Apparently, The haptic feedback turned out to be a short circuit that gave Mickey Piers a permanent twitch. Ignore Mickey, Boyke, he's high-strung, Dell said, sitting down uninvited. We're here about something much more. Refined. Diamonds. Industrial grade. High-clarity stones from a private vault in Soho. Boyke finally looked up, a flicker of interest behind his cold, calculating eyes. Diamonds, you say. And let me guess, you need a small capital injection to secure the lot? We need $7,000, Boyke, Dell said, leaning in. For a 50% stake in a lot worth $50,000. Guaranteed return in 30 days. You provide the vault and the cash. We provide the expertise and the Soho connection. Boyke let out a long, nasal whistle. 50%, Derek. For $7,000. You must be even more desperate than the water board thinks you are. It's a partnership, Boyke. Dell insisted. The Bermondsey Peckham Syndicate. Think of the prestige. I'm thinking of the profit, Boyke said, standing up. All right, Derek, I'll provide the cash, but I want 60%. And if this goes south, I'm taking the yellow van as collateral. I've always wanted a mobile chicken grading facility. Dell swallowed hard. He looked at Rodney, who was staring at a globe on the desk. 60%. Boyke, that's highway robbery. Take it or leave it. Derek, the Antwerp buyer is waiting. Dell took a deep breath. All right, 60%. Deal. Chapter 37. A Highland Fling. The final $3,000 was harder to come by. Dell had spent the entire morning on the phone to a man in the Scottish Highlands named Big Angus, who owned a salmon farm and a very large collection of kilts. Angus, my old friend, Dell shouted into the receiver. I've got exactly what you need. 50 state-of-the-art diagnostic marking devices. Perfect for grading salmon by weight and gender without even touching them. It's the organic revolution. Gender of a salmon. Derek. Angus's voice boomed back. Why the hell would I care if a fish is a laddie or a lassie before I smoke it? Market segmentation. Angus. You can sell gentlemen's smoked salmon for double the price. It's a niche market in London. Every high-end deli in Chelsea is screaming for it. And they're laser-guided. Laser-guided and haptic responsive. You'll be the king of the lock. 2 hours of frantic negotiation later, and Angus had agreed to buy the remaining poultry sexers for £3,000 provided Dell could get them to the freight depot by sunset. Rodney, get the van, Dell yelled, slamming the phone down. We're heading for the depot. The Phoenix is about to do a bit of fly fishing. They raced through the streets of Peckham, the yellow van leaning dangerously as they took corners. The 50 cylinders were rattling in the back like a frantic silver percussion section. Dell, what if Angus finds out they're for chickens? Rodney shouted over the wind. By the time he finds out, we'll be diamond moguls. Rodney, we'll buy him a whole new lock. Just keep driving. Chapter 38, The Soho Shakedown. The midday sun was beating down on Soho as the Trotters and Boyke, who had insisted on coming along to protect his investments, stood outside the office of Harry Diamond. Boyke looked like a man who was allergic to anything that didn't have a manicured lawn. "This is it, Derek?" Boyke asked, looking at the adult magazine shop. "Your International Gemological Center looks remarkably like a fire hazard." "It's about discretion, Boyke," Dell whispered. "High-value deals don't happen in the window of Selfridge's." They climbed the stairs and entered Harry's office. The air was even thicker with cigar smoke. Harry looked at the suitcase Boyke was carrying with a predatory grin. "The capital?" Harry asked. "10 grand. In used 20s, Boyke said, placing the case on the desk. "But before we open it, I want to see the stones, and I want them verified by my own expert." He nodded toward Rodney, who pulled out the jeweler's loop with a trembling hand. Harry tipped the bag onto the cloth. The 50 stones tumbled out, looking as dull and unimpressive as before. Rodney picked one up, his heart pounding. He looked through the loop. The crystalline structure is still consistent, Rodney said, his voice cracking. "It's definitely diamond, or at least it's not plastic." "Good enough for me," Harry said, grabbing the suitcase. He handed the black velvet bag to Dell. "The stones are yours. The Antwerp buyer is going to be very disappointed. He who dares wins, Harry." Dell beamed, clutching the bag to his chest. As they walked back down the stairs, Boyke was already calculating his 60%. "I want these in my vault by 5, Derek, and I've already contacted a cutter in Hatton Garden. We start the process tomorrow." "Peckham's finest, Boyke." Dell laughed. "We're back." Chapter 39, Glass or Class. The Hatton Garden workshop was a cramped, brightly lit room filled with the sound of grinding wheels and the smell of industrial lubricant. The cutter, a man named Mr. Levy, who had seen more diamonds than a Belgian bank, sat at his bench, looking at the 50 stones. Dell, Rodney, and Boyke stood behind him, their breath held. "So, Mr. Levy," Boyke said, his voice dripping with anticipation, "what do we have? High clarity, gemstone potential." Mr. Levy picked up a stone, looked at it for 3 seconds, and then let out a sigh that seemed to last for a lifetime. "What?" Dell asked, his smile faltering. "What is it?" "These stones," Mr. Levy said, placing the pebble back on the cloth. "They are indeed industrial-grade diamonds. Very high clarity, as you said." "See," Dell shouted, slapping Rodney on the back. "I told you." "But," Mr. Levy continued, "they are a very specific type of industrial diamond. They are spent diamonds, recovered from the bits of heavy-duty tunneling machines used in the construction of the Channel Tunnel." "Spent?" Boyke asked, his voice rising in an octave of pure dread. "Yes, The heat and pressure of the drilling has caused internal fractures at a molecular level. They are practically worthless. If I tried to cut them, they would simply disintegrate into dust. They are only good for being ground down into abrasive powder for sandpaper. Sandpaper, Rodney whispered. The lot is worth maybe 50 pounds for a very large box of high-quality grit. The silence in the workshop was absolute. Even the grinding wheels seemed to go quiet in sympathy. Boyke turned to Dell, his face a mask of cold, concentrated fury. Sandpaper, Derek, you've spent 7 grand of my money on 50 pounds worth of grit. I didn't know about the molecular fractures. Boyke, Dell stammered, backing away. Harry Diamond said, Harry Diamond is currently halfway to Spain with my used 20s. Boyke yelled, I want the van. Derek, I want the van, and I want the poultry sexers back from Scotland. I can't get M back. Boyke, Angus has already started gender grading his salmon. Chapter 40, The Peckham Resilience. An hour later, Dell and Rodney sat in the corner of the Nag's Head. The yellow van was still outside. Boyke had decided that even as a chicken grater, it was more trouble than it was worth. He had settled for Fertle's contingency fund and a promise of 80% of all future profits until the debt was cleared. Sandpaper, Dell, Rodney said, staring into his beer, were the only businessmen in history who could buy 50 grand worth of diamonds and end up with a box of grit. Dell sat there, looking at the black velvet bag. He reached in and pulled out a handful of the dull, gray stones. It's not grit, Rodney, Dell said. His voice regained some of its old, gravelly charm. It's high-performance abrasive material. Think about it. Every workshop in London needs sandpaper. Every decorator, every carpenter. They're all screaming for quality grit. Rodney looked at him, his mouth agape. Dell, you're not planning to sell sandpaper, are you? Trotter's Professional Abrasives, Dell said, his eyes beginning to sparkle again. We market it as diamond-infused surface refiner. We charge triple the price. It's the latest trend in interior design. He stood up, smoothing his waistcoat. Sid, a round for my friends. On Rodney's tab. Dell, Rodney yelled. I haven't got a tab. I'm the managing director of a sandpaper company. Details, Rodney, details. Dell laughed, heading for the bar. This time next year, we'll be millionaires. Kushti. And as the jukebox in the corner began to play a familiar tune about changing seasons and tides of the sea, the brothers sat together in the heart of Peckham Bankrupt, gritty, but eternally, hopelessly undefeated. The end. The Trotter Legacy. A novelization of the fall and rise of Peckham's finest. Prologue. The changing of the seasons. The yellow Reliant Regal Supervan 3 rattled through the streets of Peckham like a tin can tied to a dog's tail. Behind the wheel, Derek Del Boy Trotter hummed a tune that was as much a part of the London fog as the smell of diesel and damp cardboard. The van groaned at every corner, its fiberglass body vibrating with the effort of staying together, much like those various business schemes. "I'll fetch the suitcase from the van," he muttered to himself, the lyrics of his life playing out in his mind. "'Cause if you are the bestest, but you don't ask questions, then, brother, I'm your man." It was a philosophy that had served him well mostly. It was the philosophy of the survivor, the man who knew that where the hooky gear came from didn't matter as much as where it was going. To Del, life was an endless cycle, much like the changing of the seasons or the tides of the sea. One moment you were eating caviar in a penthouse, and the next you were back in the Nag's Head wondering if you could put a pint on the slate. But lately, the seasons had been particularly cruel. He glanced at his younger brother, Rodney, who sat in the passenger seat looking like a man who had just been told his library card had been revoked. Rodney was nervous. Rodney was always nervous, but today he looked positively translucent, his long, lanky frame folded awkwardly into the cramped cabin. "What's up with you, Rodney?" Del asked, his voice a gravelly mixture of mock concern and genuine irritation. "I'm a bit nervous, that's all," Rodney replied, adjusting his tie for the 10th time. "I mean, this bloke we're going to see, this Justin, he's not going to be asking me anything about my private life, that sort of thing, is he?" Del scoffed, shifting the van into a gear that sounded like a bag of bolts being shaken. "Of course he ain't. We're not that private, Rotters. He's a businessman, an interviewer. He wants the raison d'etre, not the under the duvet. He's not going to want to know about, you know, me and Cassandra's little problems." Those eyes twinkled with a mischievous, albeit dangerous, light. "No, no, good, 'cause otherwise I would. What problems? Me and Cassandra haven't got any problems." Rodney stared ahead. "That's not what you said to me the other night." "All right. So there's been one or two minor hiccups in the bedroom department," Rodney conceded, his voice dropping an octave as if the gear stick might be listening. "But they're personal, Del, and I told you that in confidence." All right, keep your hair on," Del said, waving a gold-ringed hand dismissively. "I'm not going to be telling him about jiffins and things. And I won't tell him what Cassandra wears, either." As they pulled up to the sleek, glass-fronted office building that served as their destination, the ghosts of their past seemed to linger in the exhaust fumes. They were no longer the millionaires of a few years back. The Trotter Tower's dream had been replaced by the familiar concrete of Nelson Mandela House. But Del Boy didn't do defeat. He did intermission. Chapter 1, The Insight. Justin was the kind of man who wore a suit that cost more than those first 3 cars combined. He sat behind a mahogany desk that was polished to such a high sheen that Dell could see his own reflection, and he liked what he saw. To Justin, this was an interview. To Dell, it was a pitch. "Sorry to keep you waiting," Justin said, his voice smooth and professional. "It's been a particularly busy morning. Now, I've got all the basic details about your business career, etc. But what I'd like to do is to get an insight into the real you." Dell leaned back, his camel hair coat draped over the chair like the skin of a conquered beast. He crossed his legs, revealing a flash of white sock that screamed Peckham Executive. He adjusted his gold D pendant, making sure the light caught it just right. "How you started, how you became so successful," Justin continued, leaning forward. "But more importantly, your lives and your raison d'etre." Rodney winced at the French. Dell, however, bloomed. "Oh, no. Laboratory Garney," Dell whispered, his version of liberté, eagle-eyed, fraternate mangled beyond recognition, but delivered with the confidence of a king. "So, in your own words and in your own time." Dell took a deep breath, the smell of his own cigar smoke clinging to his coat providing a familiar comfort. "Well, where shall I start? Justin. Well, up to a few years ago, we were just very ordinary people living, well, very ordinary lives. Weren't we, Rodney? Weren't we?" Rodney gave a stiff, mechanical nod. And then Dole's eyes went misty. "As you know, one day I discovered an historic and almost priceless artifact. A watch. Not just any watch, mind you. A Harrison. The holy grail of horology." He paused for dramatic effect. Justin nodded, encouraging him. Dell spun a yarn that combined elements of Indiana Jones with a South London car boot sale. "Anyway, at first, we didn't know what to do with it," Dell lied smoothly. In reality, they had nearly tripped over themselves trying to figure out how many zeros were on the end of the valuation. To begin with, we thought about donating it to the British Museum as a national treasure. Rodney cleared his throat. "Yeah, and then we decided to flog it." Dell shot him a look. "So, before you know, Rodders and me have come in on an eye on £6.5 million. 6.5 million, Justin. In the hand. Not a penny of it hooky." The room seemed to grow quiet as the memory of that wealth washed over them. It had been a time of helicopters and villas, of champagne that didn't taste like fermented apples, and of a world that finally seemed to recognize the genius of Trotter's independent traders. "Well, after we divvied the dosh up, right," Dell continued, his voice softening, "we made sure that our Uncle Albert got a nice little drink. But we thought of others first. We donated to charity. Enormously, of course." "Enormously," Rodney echoed, though his mind was likely calculating the exact cost of the donations versus the cost of the cigars Dell had smoked during that period. "So, eventually, we had to start thinking about our future, Dell said, the tone shifting to something more somber. So, we sought out this city stockbroker, Real Diamond, according to the brochures, and he advised us to invest in a new and vibrant venture, a Central American market. Rodney added, the words tasting like ash in his mouth. It was attracting massive funds from all over the world. We were told it was a sure thing. Dell nodded vigorously. We were making more money than the Royal Mint, but we weren't flat. Oh, no, 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 we weren't flat. I mean, even when we went away on business, we always took the family with us. There would be me and Raquel, my significant other, and, of course, Rodney and Cassandra, and not forgetting my young son, Damien. Chapter 2, The High Life and the Deep Fall. The memory shifted to the sun-drenched shores of their brief paradise. Dell could almost feel the heat on his back and the cold condensation of a pina colada in his hand. He remembered walking into a high-end restaurant, greeted like royalty. "Oh, Mr. Potter, it's good to see you again," the Mactor D had said. "Bon appetit, Dominic. Bon appetit," Dell had replied, waving a hand as if he owned the very air. It was a world of viva la vida loca, of black cats and voodoo dolls, mostly in the form of the superstitions that follow the suddenly wealthy. But beneath the surface, the premonitions were starting to stir. He remembered the chaos of family life and luxury. Cassandra, always the voice of reason, complaining about Damien's latest antics. "Ralph, you've got to have a word with Damien. People are complaining," she had said, her face flushed with embarrassment. "Oh, no. What's he done now?" Dell had asked, secretly proud of his son's spirit. "He's just weed in the swimming pool." Dell had laughed it off then. All little boys do enjoy a splash in the swimming pool, don't they? "Yes, Dell," Cassandra had replied through gritted teeth, but not from the top of the 4-meter diving board. He was a little git, as Rodney often said, but he was a trotter, and for a while it felt like the trotter name was written in the stars. They talked about Uncle Albert, who was enjoying his retirement on the coast, living in sin with Elsie Partridge. Old Uncle Albert, he'd love it here, Rodney had mused during a quiet evening by the ocean, right next door to the sea, just like the war. "Yeah," Dell had agreed. "At least we haven't got to sit through the Battle of the Baltic every night, eh? During the war. But then the tide turned, not with a roar, but with the quiet tap of a keyboard. The stock market crash was like a wave that swept away their sand castles. It turned out that negotiations between the Central American countries had collapsed. Dell explained to Justin, the pain evident in his eyes. "Yeah, it was wiped out. Every penny. Nicked the lot." The transition from Mr. Potter to that bloke who owes us for the minibar had been instantaneous. They had paid for the hotel on a credit card, a card that was withdrawn before the ink on the receipt was dry. but Derek is, if nothing else, a very creative businessman. Rodney told the interviewer, a hint of genuine respect breaking through his usual cynicism. He came up with a solution to our dilemma. Up there, Dell had shouted, pointing to a flight path that would lead them back to the reality of Peckham. The news hit the UK faster than a rumor in the Nag's Head. Suddenly, their business associates weren't returning calls. The penthouse was gone. The peacocks were gone. They were cast into a financial wilderness, returning to the only place that would have them, Nelson Mandela House. Chapter 3, The Trial of Friends. The return to Peckham wasn't just about losing money, it was about the fallout. Their friend Mike Fisher, the landlord of the Nag's Head, had invested his life savings into the Trotters' venture. He had remortgaged the pub, betting everything on Del Boy's sure thing. Now, Mike was in prison, awaiting trial for embezzlement, a desperate attempt to recoup the losses. Never was a man more innocent, Dell insisted to the interviewer, his voice cracking. The scene shifted Indel's mind to the courthouse corridor. The air was thick with the scent of cheap floor wax and anxiety. Denzel was pacing, his footsteps echoing like a ticking clock. For God's sake, Denzel, sit down, Albert had said, the memory of his voice sharp and clear. You're wearing the marble out. I can't, Albert, can I? Denzel had replied, I've never been a character witness before. I'm worried. I think Dill's made a terrible mistake, having us for as witnesses. It's like inviting the Manson family to dinner. Trigger, ever the enigma, had looked up from a crumpled newspaper. I'm going to tell them I hear voices. No, Trig, Rodney had sighed. You're not on trial. You're a character witness. I know, Trigger had said simply, but I hear voices. It had been a disaster. The Trotters lost their homes. Dill's estate with the peacocks became a dream that was auctioned off to pay the interest on the interest. Every day there was more rows, more bad news. Dell told Justin, we thought things couldn't possibly get worse. Oh, boy, how wrong we were. Chapter 4, The Empty Chair. The blow that hurt the most wasn't financial. It was the call from Elsie Partridge's son, Uncle Albert, the man who had survived torpedoes, shipwrecks, Andel's cooking, had finally reached his final port. The funeral was a blur of black coats and the biting cold of a London winter. Dell felt a profound sense of guilt. They had been off globetrotting while Albert had been in a rest home, his wartime stories falling on the ears of strangers. I feel bad, you know, Dell whispered to Rodney as they stood by the hearse, leaving him here on his own while we was all off in Barbados. He wasn't on his own. Dell, Rodney tried to comfort him. He had Elsie's family. But the funeral itself turned into a classic Trotter farce. They stood among the mourners, listening to tales of a man named Bunny who was a hero in the RAF. Why did you call him Bunny? Dell asked a grieving relative. Well, that's what they called him in the RAF, didn't they? Because his surname was Warren. Del froze. He looked at the coffin. He looked at the headstone. He looked at the mourning family who were definitely not the Warrens he knew. Who, Del whispered, his face turning the color of his beige coat, "We're at the wrong funeral." They had spent an hour mourning a complete stranger. It was the kind of moment that would have made Albert roar with laughter, or perhaps start a story about the time he buried a Commodore in the wrong hemisphere during the war. Chapter 5, The Gold Rush. Back in the present, the weight of the inland revenue hung over them like a guillotine. 48,750 for pounds. That was the magic number, plus interest. It was a figure that seemed designed to keep them in the concrete canyons of Peckham forever. So, what are we going to do? Then, Dad, Damien asked, his young face mirroring his father's stubbornness. I suppose you could always look for a job, Raquel suggested gently. Trigger said they're recruiting down at his depot. Road sweeping. The thought of Rodney the man with to G.C. East bushing a broom was too much for Del. I'm a trader, ain't I? Del declared, his eyes catching the light of the flickering television. I've been trading all my life. I could sell rice to the Chinese. He had a plan. He was going to become the manager of a new firm. Since he was disqualified from running a company, he would make Rodney the managing director. Rodney Trotter, Del beamed, the new face of Trotter's independent traders. You'll be in charge of sales, purchasing, and finance. I'll just be the consultant. But the debt remained, and then the flickering screen provided an answer. Gold Rush, the fastest game show on TV, hosted by Jonathan Ross. I'm going to apply, Del said. Rodney laughed. Del, last night one of the questions was who introduced the potato to England. And you said King Edward. I didn't hear the question properly. Del snapped. But he did it. He got on. The night of the show was a fever dream. The lights were too bright, and Jonathan Ross's suit was even more expensive than Justin's. Del stood there, representing fine wines, the theater, and 16th century Italian Renaissance art. He sailed through the first round by pure luck. Kilimanjaro. Yes, because Fuji made cameras. He was moving up the Rainbow Road. Then came the moment, the 50,000 pounds question, the penalty question that could save him or sink him. Which classical guitarist wrote the opera The Child and the Enchantment? Was it Ravel, Segovia, or Rodrigo? Dol's mind went blank. He used his SOS. He called Rodney. Back in the flat, Rodney and Cassandra were dressed as a policewoman and a gladiator, an attempt at fantasy therapy that had gone horribly awry when Del unexpectedly stayed home. When the phone rang and Jonathan Ross's voice came through, Rodney thought it was Mickey Pierce winding him up. Oh, piss off, Mickey, you're getting on my tits now, Rodney shouted. But it was real. Rodney, help me. Dole's voice pleaded through the speaker the guitar question: Ravel, Segovia, or Rodrigo? Rodney, with the confidence of a man who had once heard a record in a library, answered, Ravel, 100% Del. Ravel, Del shouted to the nation. Derek, Jonathan Ross said, a look of genuine pity on his face. That was the wrong answer. It was Segovia. Dole's heart didn't just break, it imploded. He had lost. He had lost the money, the flat, and his dignity on national television. Chapter 6, The Phone Call of Destiny. Back at the flat, the mood was funeral quiet. Del was missing, having disappeared into the night. When he finally returned, he looked older, tired. The vibrant, larger-than-life character seemed to have been hollowed out. I could have sworn it was Ravel, Rodney muttered, looking at his feet. Everyone knows Ravel makes shoes. Del exploded, though there was no real heat in it. It was a trick question, and you fell for it. They sat in the dim light of the living room, the reality of bankruptcy settling in. They were back at the bottom, but they were together. Then the phone rang. Hello, Rodney answered. Yes, can I ask who's calling? He handed the phone to Del. It's the producer of Gold Rush. Del took the phone, his face hardening. I bet it's about that podium. I bet someone's damaged it. Probably Jonathan Ross tripped over his own ego. Hello. Yes, this is Derek Trotter. Del listened. His eyes widened. His jaw dropped. His hand began to shake. And for a moment, Rodney thought he was having another hard turn. What? No, no. He looked at the family, his face transforming from despair to a manic, golden joy. He said there's been a mistake. Del whispered. It was Ravel. The researcher got it wrong. I've won the 50,000 pounds. The room erupted. Cheers, hugs, the sound of champagne, or at least the promise of it, filled the air. I knew I was right, Del shouted, his voice regaining its Peckham swagger. Give the money to charity. Pull the other one. It's got bells on. We're the Trotters, and we're back. Chapter 7, The Nag's Head Jubilation. The news of Del Boy's windfall spread through Peckham faster than a cheap suit in a rainstorm. By the time the Trotters arrived at the Nag's Head, the pub was already buzzing. Sid, the stand-in landlord while Mike was away, had already lined up a row of glasses. Trigger was there, looking at a pint as if it contained the secrets of the universe. Boyke and Marlene were in their usual corner, Boyke looking particularly smug as he adjusted his silk tie. I hear you've come into a bit of official money, Del, Boyke drawled, his laugh sounding like a machine gun in a library. 50 grand. Hardly enough for a decent cigar. But for you, it must feel like the crown jewels. Jealousy is a terrible thing. Boyke, Del shot back, slamming a stack of notes onto the bar. A round for everyone, Sid, and make it the good stuff. None of that house vinegar. Nice one, Del Boy, Trigger said, nodding slowly. I knew you'd win. I had a feeling in my water. You always have a feeling in your water, Trig. Rodney sighed, leaning against the bar. Usually it's just the plumbing. As the night wore on, the alcohol flowed and the stories grew taller. Denzel talked about the trial. Denzel still shaking his head at the memory of Trigger's testimony. But beneath the laughter, there was a sense of relief. The Trotters weren't just back in the money, they were back in their element. I'm telling you, Rotters, Dell whispered, his arm around his brother's shoulder. This is just the start. 50 grand. That's seed money. We're going to turn this into 500. Millionaires by Christmas. I promise you. Rodney looked at his brother, seeing the old spark back in his eyes. He knew it was unlikely. He knew they'd probably lose it all on a shipment of one-legged trousers or glow-in-the-dark Bibles. But for tonight, he didn't care. Yeah, Dell, Rodney smiled. Millionaires by Christmas. Chapter 8, The Morning After. The sun rose over Nelson Mandela House, casting a long shadow across the parking lot where the yellow van sat, a silent witness to their roller coaster life. Inside the flat, the air was heavy with the scent of stale celebration and burnt toast. Dell sat at the small kitchen table, a mountain of paperwork spread out before him. The Inland Revenue, the Customs and Excise, the various business associates who had suddenly rediscovered his phone number. What are you doing, Dell? Raquel asked, coming in and placing a hand on his shoulder. Just planning, sweetheart, Dell said, his voice quiet. This 50 grand. It's a lifeline. But we have to be smart. No more sure things. No more Central American markets. You mean it? Raquel asked, her voice full of hope. Dell looked up at her, and for a second, the mask of the salesman slipped. I have to mean it, Raquel. For you. For Damien. For the memory of the old man. He looked at the empty chair where Uncle Albert used to sit, telling tales of the war and the sea. He could almost hear the old man's voice, warning him about the sharks in the city. We're going back to basics, Dell declared, his voice regaining its strength. Trotters independent traders, buying and selling, finding the gaps, being the bestest. Rodney walked in, looking like he'd been dragged through a hedge backward. Are we still millionaires, Dell? In spirit, Rotters, Dell grinned, tossing him a set of keys. Now, get the van started. I've heard a rumor about a shipment of slightly used digital watches in Sitcom. We've got work to do. As the Reliant Regal roared, or rather, coughed to life in the parking lot below, Del Boy stood on the balcony, looking out over his kingdom. The seasons had changed, the tides had turned, and the Trotters were still standing. Cushty, he whispered to the London wind. Chapter 9, The Sidcup Hustle. The drive to Sidcup was an ordeal that only the brave, or the desperate, would undertake in a three-wheeled van with a heater that emitted nothing but the faint scent of burning damp. Rodney hunched in the passenger seat, his knees pressed against the dashboard. "I don't like this, Del," Rodney complained, pulling his scarf tighter. "Sid Cup, it's practically in the countryside. And these digital watches. Who's the contact?" Del wrestled with the steering wheel as the van hit a pothole. "It's a bloke named Nifty Neville. A diamond, Rodney. He's got a warehouse full of them. Latest tech, water resistant up to 3 millimeters. 3 millimeters? Del, that's a light drizzle." "Exactly. Perfect for the British climate," Del replied, beaming. "And get this, they're solar powered. No more batteries. You just show them to the sun, and bingo, you know what time it is." They arrived at a desolate industrial estate that looked like a set for a post-apocalyptic film. Nifty Neville was waiting, leaning against a rusted shutter. He handed Del a cardboard box. Del opened it to reveal a sea of plastic watches, each one flashing 12 o'clock with desperate urgency. "Look at that, Rodders. Pure class," Del admired, strapping one onto his wrist. He held his arm out of the van window, waiting for the weak London sun to work its magic. Nothing happened. It's a bit shy. That's all," Del muttered, shaking his arm vigorously. "It needs a bit of oomph. Give it a rub, Rodney." Chapter 10. Solar Power in a London Fog. Market day at Peckham was a symphony of chaos. Del stood on his favorite pitch, the cardboard box of solar watches front and center. "Step right up, ladies and gentlemen." Del's voice boomed over the crowd. "Don't look at the price, look at the quality. Are you tired of batteries dying? Are you sick of losing time when the lights go out? Well, worry no more. The Trotter Solar Watch is here." A small crowd gathered, drawn in by the sheer audacity of his delivery. "Is it waterproof?" a woman asked, pointing at the plastic casing. "Is it waterproof?" Del laughed, a sound of pure mock indignation. "Darling, this watch was designed for the French Navy. You could dive to the bottom of the Thames, and it would still tell you it's time for a cup of tea." Just then, a dark cloud moved over the market, and a thick, gray fog began to roll in. One by one, the displays on the watches began to fade. The flashing 12 o'clock became a dim memory, then vanished entirely. "Oi, my watch has gone blank," a man shouted, holding up his wrist. Del didn't blink. That, sir, is the Echo Sleep feature. It's saving power. It knows you're not looking at it, so it's having a little nap. Pure genius, innit? Rodney, standing at the back of the pitch, put his head in his hands. "Del, the fog is getting thicker. We're selling invisible time." "Nonsense, Rodney. It's an atmospheric horological experience," Del whispered back, before turning to the crowd with a wide grin. "Who wants another? Buy 2 and I'll throw in a set of glow-in-the-dark shoelaces." Chapter 11. The Echoes of the Empire. Back at the Nag's Head that evening, the Sitcom sting was the talk of the bar. Del sat with a large cognac, a pile of unsold solar watches in a bag at his feet. So, Del, Boyke said, leaning over with a smirk that could curdle milk, I hear you've been selling watches that only work in the Sahara. Very forward-thinking of you. I suppose your next venture will be selling ice cubes to the Eskimos? It's about the future, Boyke, Del retorted, not missing a beat. Renewable energy, green technology. I'm an environmentalist now. I'm Del Green Trotter. Trigger nodded solemnly from his stool. I like the watches, Del. I bought one. It told me it was midnight all afternoon. Very peaceful. Rodney sighed, sipping his pint. We made 20 quid, Del, and half of that was from selling the shoelaces to a blind man. Raquel arrived, sitting down next to Del. She looked at the bag of watches and then at Del's hopeful face. At least you're trying, Del. That's what matters. Exactly, sweetheart, Del said, squeezing her hand. We're back on the streets, the pulse of the city. We're traders, Rodney. We don't need millions to be happy. We just need a good pitch and a bit of luck. Rodney looked around the pub at the familiar faces, the peeling wallpaper, and the warm, noisy atmosphere. He realized that despite everything, he wouldn't trade this for a boardroom in Central America. I suppose you're right, Del, Rodney admitted. But if you bring home a shipment of solar-powered umbrellas, I'm leaving. Chapter 12, Bonjour, Peckham. The night was quiet as Del stood on the balcony of Nelson Mandela House. The lights of London stretched out before him, a tapestry of possibilities and its pitfalls. He thought about the Harrison watch, the helicopters, and the crash. It felt like a lifetime ago. He looked at the yellow van in the parking lot below. It looked small and battered, but it was still there. It had survived the million-pound dream and the bankruptcy nightmare. It was a trotter through and through. You okay, Del? Raquel asked, joining him. Yeah, Del breathed, the familiar scent of the city filling his lungs. I was just thinking, we've been through a lot, haven't we? But we're still here, still fighting, still trading. And we've got each other, she reminded him. And 50 grand in the bank, Del added, the old twinkle returning to his eyes. Well, 49,980 after today's expenses. He looked up at the stars, which were finally visible as the fog cleared. You know, Rodgers is a good lad, Del mused. He's got his GCEs, his ideas, but he needs me. He needs the old Del Boy touch. He leaned over the railing, shouting into the darkness. Hear that? London, the Trotters are back, and this time next year. Well, you know the rest. Raquel laughed and pulled him back inside. As the door closed, the faint sound of a distant police siren echoed through the streets, a reminder that in Peckham, the hustle never truly ends. Bonjour, Peckham, Del whispered as he turned off the light. Bonjour. Chapter 13, The Executive Suit. The following Monday, Rodney arrived at the flat wearing a suit that was so sharp it could have been used to carve a Sunday roast. It was a charcoal gray number, impeccably tailored, or at least it looked that way until he tried to sit down and the seams let out a high-pitched scream of protest. "You look like a proper businessman, Rodney," Dell remarked, stirring a cup of tea with a gold-plated spoon. A bit like a younger, slightly more gaunt version of Richard Branson, minus the island, and the airlines, and the charisma. "I'm taking my role seriously, Dell," Rodney insisted, checking his reflection in a toaster. "Cassandra says if I'm the managing director, I should project an image of authority. We're having an executive lunch today." An executive lunch. Sounds posh, Dell said, his interest piqued. "Where are we going? The Ritz, Savoy, Barney's Cafe?" "We're going to that new place, Le Petit Gourmet," Rodney said proudly. "It's very exclusive. You have to book a table 3 weeks in advance." 3 weeks. I could have grown my own potatoes in that time, Dell scoffed. "But go on, then. I'll come as your consultant. I've got some consulting to do anyway. I need to see a man about a consignment of, well, let's just say it's an atmospheric opportunity." The lunch was a disaster of epic proportions. The portions were so small that Dell spent 10 minutes looking for his steak with a magnifying glass. When the bill arrived, it was more than Rodney's weekly salary. 25 quid for a sprig of parsley and a piece of meat the size of a postage stamp, Dell whispered, his face turning a dangerous shade of red. "I've seen more substance in a political manifesto." "It's about the experience, Dell," Rodney hissed back. "Experience? The only experience I'm having is the experience of starvation," Dell retorted. He leaned over to a nearby table where a wealthy-looking couple were dining. "Excuse me, sir, are you finished with that bread roll? Only my managing director here has a very sensitive appetite." Chapter 14, The Bargain from Brussels. A few days later, Dell returned to the flat looking like he just won the lottery. He was carrying a small, metallic briefcase that looked remarkably like the ones used by nuclear scientists in 1960 spy films. "Gather round, everyone," Dell announced, placing the briefcase on the kitchen table. "Rodney, Raquel, Cassandra, if you're finished with your executive bookkeeping, take a look at this." He flipped the latches and opened the case. Inside were dozens of small, silver canisters that looked like miniature fire extinguishers. "What are they, Dell?" Raquel asked, peering into the box. "Hairspray, deodorant, anti-tank missiles." "Better," Dell beamed. "This, my dear family, is alpine oxygen. Fresh air, straight from the peaks of the Swiss Alps. Compressed, purified, and ready to revitalize the weary lungs of the London workforce." Rodney stared at the canisters. "Dell, you've bought a box of air?" Not just air, Rodney. Alpine air. It's the latest craze in Brussels. All the top executives are using it to stay sharp. One puff of this, and you're ready to take on the world. I've got 2,000 canisters arriving tomorrow. How much did they cost? Cassandra asked, her eyebrows reaching for her hairline. A bargain. $5,000 for the lot. We sell them at 5 quid a puff, I mean, a canister, and we're looking at a 10,000-pound profit. Tax-free, naturally. Dell, the air in London is free, Rodney pointed out. Dirty, yes, but free. Free but filthy. Rodney, this is pure. It's Trotter fresh. I've already got a marketing slogan. Don't just breathe, peak performance. Chapter 15, The Charity Gala and the Smog. The timing of the Alpine oxygen launch couldn't have been more perfect. A thick, yellow smog had descended upon London, turning the city into something resembling a giant bowl of pea soup. People were coughing, spluttering, and generally desperate for a breath of something that didn't taste like coal dust. This is it. Rotters, Dell shouted, loading the van. The market will be screaming for this. We're going to be heroes, like the Red Cross, but with better jewelry. They set up their pitch in the heart of Peckham. Dell was wearing a white lab coat he'd borrowed from a local dentist, and Rodney was standing by with a megaphone. Feeling sluggish, lungs feeling like a chimney sweep's waistcoat, Dell shouted, "Get your Trotter fresh Alpine oxygen. 1 puff and you'll think you're skiing in St. Moritz." A crowd gathered instantly. People were clamoring for the canisters, waving 5-pound notes in the air. For 2 hours, it was a frenzy. Dell was sweating, his lab coat stained with fog, but he was grinning like a Cheshire cat. I told you, Rodney, vision, that's what I've got. But then the first complaint arrived. A man who had just bought 5 canisters came back, looking less than revitalized. "Oi, this canister is empty," he shouted. "Empty? Impossible," Dell said, taking the canister. He pressed the nozzle. A faint, wheezing sound emerged, followed by a smell that was definitely not reminiscent of the Swiss Alps. In fact, it smelled remarkably like Brussels sprouts, Rodney whispered, sniffing the air. "Brussels sprouts," the man roared. "I'm breathing in a Sunday dinner." Chapter 16, The Reality of Fresh Air. It turned out that Nifty Neville's Brussels contact had been slightly less than honest. The canisters weren't filled with Alpine air. They were a surplus batch of industrial-grade gas used in a Belgian vegetable packing plant. The crowd quickly turned from desperate customers to an angry mob. Dell and Rodney barely made it to the van before the first tomato hit the windshield. "Start the engine, Rodney, start the engine," Dell screamed. The reliant Regal coughed, spluttered, and then roared to life, screeching away from the market just as a hail of empty canisters rained down around them. Back at the flat, the silence was deafening. Raquel and Cassandra were waiting, their arms crossed. So Raquel said softly, "How did the peak performance go?" Del sat down at the table, his lab coat torn and his pride even more so. "Well, we had a bit of a technical glitch. The Belgian atmosphere is a bit more robust than I anticipated. You lost 5,000 pounds, Del," Cassandra said, her voice like ice. No, not lost. Invested in a lesson," Del corrected weakly. "And besides, we've still got the canisters. They're very durable. We could use them as door stops." Rodney looked at his brother, and for a moment he felt a surge of anger. But then he saw the exhaustion in Bill's eyes, the way his shoulders slumped. He realized that Del was just trying to get them back to where they were, to the glory days of the Harrison watch. "It's okay, Del," Rodney said, sitting down next to him. "We've still got the 44,000 from the game show. We're not broke." Del looked up, a small smile playing on his lips. "You're right, Rotters. You're right. And I've heard a rumor about a shipment of slightly damaged electric toothbrushes in Gravesend. They're sonic, apparently. Very modern." Raquel sighed and walked over to the kitchen. "I'll make some tea. And Del." "Yes, sweetheart. No more air from anywhere." "Promise," Del said, crossing his heart with a gold-ringed finger. He winked at Rodney. "But toothbrushes, Rotters. Everyone's got teeth, haven't they? It's a guaranteed winner." As the kettle began to whistle, the Trotters sat together in the heart of Peckham, a family built on dreams, disasters, and an unbreakable bond that no amount of Belgian sprout gas could ever truly tarnish. Chapter 17, The Gravesend Gamble. The trip to Gravesend was conducted in a silence that was only broken by the rhythmic thwack-thwack of a loose wiper blade against the windshield. Del was focused, his hands gripping the steering wheel as if he were piloting a fighter jet through enemy territory. Rodney, on the other hand, was reading a pamphlet about business ethics and social responsibility, looking like a man about to go to his own execution. "These toothbrushes, Del," Rodney said, not looking up. "Nifty Neville said they were slightly damaged." "What does that mean in nifty terms? Does it mean they don't have bristles? Or do they just explode when you plug them in?" "Don't be so cynical, Rodney. It's cosmetic damage," Del explained, weaving through traffic. "A few scratches on the box, maybe a slightly wonky logo, but inside, pure sonic technology, 20,000 vibrations per second. It's like having a miniature jackhammer in your mouth, but, gentle." They reached a warehouse that looked even more derelict than the one in Sitcom. A man named Shifty Arthur, a close associate of Nifty Neville, was waiting. He gestured toward a mountain of crates. "There they are, Del, the Ultrasonic 3000, experimental model, straight from the lab in Japan." Arthur lied, his eyes darting toward the exit. Del opened a box. The toothbrushes looked impressive sleek, Silver and heavy, he pressed the on button. A low-pitched hum filled the air, and for a moment, every loose piece of metal in the warehouse began to vibrate in sympathy. Hear that, rotters, power, Dell shouted over the hum. I'll take the lot. Chapter 18, The Sonic Boom. The following Saturday, the Trotters set up their pitch in Peckham once again. This time, Dell was wearing a silk bathrobe over his clothes, looking like a man who had just stepped out of a luxury bathroom. Do you want teeth so white they'll blind a bus driver? Dell's voice echoed through the market. Do you want a smile that says I'm a millionaire even if I live in a flat? Then you need the Ultrasonic 3000. A crowd gathered, intrigued by the silk bathrobe. Rodney stood by with a bowl of water and some stained dentures he'd acquired from somewhere. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen, Dell announced. He dipped a toothbrush into the water and pressed the button. The hum was much louder than before. In fact, it was so loud that a car alarm across the street went off. The water in the bowl turned into a fine mist instantly. The dentures didn't just get clean, they began to rattle so violently that one of the front teeth flew out and hit a passing policeman in the helmet. "Oi!" the policeman shouted, looking around. "It's just the deep clean mode," Dell whispered urgently to the crowd. "It's finding the stubborn stains. Who wants one? 5 quid, a fraction of the retail price." But then something strange began to happen. A pack of local dogs, led by a particularly large Doberman, began to howl in unison. They raced toward the pitch, their ears flat against their heads, looking like they were responding to a silent call from a distant planet. "Dell, I think the frequency is a bit high," Rodney said, backed against the van as 5 dogs began to circle them. "Nonsense. Dogs love hygiene," Dell shouted, but even he looked worried as the Doberman began to gnaw on the leg of the display table. Chapter 19, The CEO's Dilemma. Back at the flat, the living room was filled with the low-pitched hum of several dozen ultrasonic 3000s that Dell was testing. Raquel and Cassandra were in the kitchen, their heads buried in their hands. "Rodney," Cassandra said, her voice trembling with frustration, "as the managing director, can you please tell your consultant to turn off the miniature jet engines? My teeth are literally vibrating in my head." Rodney walked into the living room. "Dell, turn them off. The neighbors are complaining that their television signals are scrambled, and every cat in the building is currently hiding under a sofa." Dell switched them off, and the silence that followed was heavy. "Rodney, you've got to see the bigger picture. We've sold 50 of them. Sure, we've had a few returns from people whose fillings fell out, but the profit margin is huge." "Dell, we can't sell these," Rodney said firmly, his CEO persona finally taking charge. "They're dangerous. They attract animals and scramble electronics. It's a health and safety nightmare." Dell sat down on the sofa, looking at the silver toothbrushes. I just wanted a winner, rotters. Something that would make up for the air canisters. Something professional. Professionalism isn't about the product, Del, Rodney said, his voice softening. It's about, well, it's about not being a menace to society. I suppose so. Del sighed. He looked up at Rodney. So, what do we do with 2,000 sonic toothbrushes? Rodney thought for a moment. I heard a rumor that the local council is looking for a way to scare away the pigeons from the town hall. If we mount these on the roof. Del's eyes lit up. Rodney, you're a genius. A sonic pigeon deterrent. We sell them to the council at 20 quid a unit. We'll make a fortune. Chapter 20, The Trotter Way. The contract with the council was signed within a week. The ultrasonic 3000s were installed on the roof of the Peckham Town Hall, and for the first time in 50 years, not a single pigeon dared to land within 100 yards of the building. Del and Rodney stood on the pavement across the street, watching as a confused bird hovered in midair before screeching and flying toward Brixton. Look at that, rotters. Innovation, Del beamed, pocketing a check from the council. We've done a public service and made a tidy profit. That's the Trotter way. Yeah, Rodney admitted, a small smile appearing on his face. I guess it worked out. They walked back toward the Nag's Head, the familiar sounds of the city surrounding them. They weren't millionaires, and they weren't in Barbados. They were in Peckham, with a bankrupt business, a yellow van, and a family that drove them crazy. But as Del pushed open the pub door and waved a greeting to Trigger and Boyke, he knew he wouldn't have it any other way. You know, rotters, Del said, leaning against the bar. I've heard a rumor about a shipment of slightly used solar-powered calculators in Dartford. They're smart, apparently. They can predict the weather. Rodney groaned and took a deep sip of his pint. Here we go again. No, really, think about it. Everyone's got numbers, haven't they? It's a guaranteed winner. As the sun set over Peckham, casting long shadows across the concrete towers, the Trotters were still dreaming, still trading, and still against all odds together. Cushty, Del whispered, raising his glass. Cushty. Chapter 21, The Dartford Dash. The trip to Dartford was arguably the most terrifying 60 minutes of Rodney's life. The Reliance engine was making a sound that suggested a disgruntled goblin lived under the hood, and Del was driving with the reckless abandon of a man who believed speed limits were merely suggestions for the unimaginative. These calculators, Del, Rodney shouted over the wind whizzing through a gap in the door. Predicting the weather. It's mathematically impossible. A calculator is for long division, not for telling you if you need a brolly. It's about the sensor, rotters. It's got a barometric quartz processor, Del replied, narrowly missing a milk float. You punch in your postcode, hit the equals sign, and bingo, It gives you a percentage chance of precipitation. It's the future of agriculture. Son, every farmer from here to Norfolk will be screaming for M. They met the supplier, a man known only as Stuttering Stan, in a car park behind a derelict cinema. Stan produced a box of devices that looked like regular calculators, but had a peculiar, tiny antenna sticking out the side. SSS solar power, Del, Stan stammered, tapping the tiny panels. And the WWW weather logic, PPP pure genius. Del didn't even haggle. He handed over a chunk of the council's pigeon money and loaded the boxes. As they drove away, Rodney noticed the antennas were actually just painted toothpicks glued to the side. Del, these aren't sensors, Rodney whispered, pulling one off easily. Of course they are. They're biodegradable receivers. Del snapped. Now hush up. I'm mentally calculating our markup. We're going to be the Michael Fishes of the digital age. Chapter 22, The Prophecy of the Postcode. Back at the flat, Del had set up a meteorological testing station on the kitchen table. He was surrounded by maps, postcode directories, and half a dozen smart calculators. Right, let's test Peckham, Del announced. He punched in his E15 and hit the equal sign. The screen flickered and displayed 70 to 0.5%. 72% what? Del, Raquel asked, peering over his shoulder. Son, darling, 72% sun. Del beamed. He looked out the window. It was currently pouring with rain, a steady, gray London drizzle that looked like it had no intention of stopping until 2030. The calculator says sun, Del, Rodney pointed out, gesturing to the deluge outside. It's a proactive forecast, Rodney. It's predicting the sun for tomorrow. It's thinking ahead. It's got a bigger brain than you, that's for sure. But as the night wore on, every postcode Del punched in resulted in exactly the same number, 70 to 0.5%. Whether it was the North Pole, the Sahara Desert, or the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, the smart calculator remained stubbornly optimistic. It stuck. Del, Rodney sighed. It's not a weather sensor. It's just a calculator with one broken button that always displays 70 to 0.5. Del stared at the screen, his face a mask of stubborn denial. Maybe the world is just becoming very consistent. Rodney, have you thought of that? Maybe it's global stabilization. Chapter 23, The Peckham Heat Wave. The next morning, Del was at the market pitch, wearing a pair of oversized sunglasses and a Hawaiian shirt that looked like it had been designed by someone in the middle of a high fever hallucination. Don't get caught in the rain. Don't get burnt in the sun. Del's voice rang out. Know the future before it happens with the Trotter Weather Whiz, as used by the Himalayan Sherpas. A small crowd, damp from the morning rain, gathered round. How does it work then, mate? A burly man asked. Simple, sir. Punch in your location, hit equals, and it tells you the atmospheric destiny. Dell handed him a calculator. The man punched in his number. The screen flashed 70 to 0.5%. What's that mean? That, sir, means a 70 to 0.5% chance of a glorious heat wave. Dell lied, not missing a beat. Just as the words left his mouth, a sudden, violent crack of thunder echoed through the market, and the sky turned a bruised, angry purple. The crowd looked at the sky, then at the calculator, then at Dell. Heat wave, A, the man said as the first hailstones began to bounce off the display. It's a localized pressure inversion, Dell shouted, scrambling to cover the boxes with a tarpaulin. The calculator is sensing the heat behind the clouds. It's very sensitive. But the crowd had had enough. Within minutes, the pitch was deserted, save for Dell and Rodney, who were